Good morning and welcome to Get Enlightened with me, Lauren Scott. Guys, I'm so excited to have my dear friend Josiah Earley on the podcast. Hey, Jojo.
Hello.
We have known each other for, we were just talking, I guess it's been, 10 years now?
Since almost 9 years, 2016 is when we met.
2016, I do believe. And the way that we met is an amazing story. It was at the Playboy offices.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. I don't even know why I was down there.
In California, we were doing some kind of radio show. And then we went with Mariano over to Logan and Jake Paul's house.
I believe so.
I don't remember exactly what we were doing. Something influencers. This is when influencers were like, it was just a big thing, it
was super new. It was like fresh. It was before people knew that they could be somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. And when we met, we just, I don't know, we hit it off from the very, very beginning. And we worked so much on like different, things in the entertainment industry. So I'm excited to have you on here so you can kind of tell your story and where you're going and what you're doing. So let's start at the beginning. How old were you when you became famous, or let's say
Vine,
an influencer on Vine? How old were you?
I think I knew I was like at least 20, 21. Because when I first came to Cali, I was 20. I think it was 21 when I first started doing Vines. Yeah, that's crazy. It's almost been 9 years. Yep. Because I came out here 20. And I did my first Vine. Yeah. I did my first Vine in the end of December. In the beginning of 2016 is when I fully started doing Vines.
So it was probably the middle of 2016 that we met, because you were like
I was fresh. Yeah.
You were fresh.
I was fresh, but also I came in Vine when Vine was actually dying off.
Yeah. So go ahead and tell the story of like how, like what even made you get on Vine and how you went viral.
Oh man, this is actually how the whole journey of even becoming an influencer, becoming director. This is the beginning seed that nobody knows. So when I first came out here, I came out here in Cali. I'm from Houston. I was born out here. I was born in Riverside, California. And I had graduated. I had graduated in Texas, and I was like, you know what? I don't like being here anymore. All of my friends are either dying or in jail. It just wasn't for me, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember calling my dad, who I don't know, never met him. Met him probably maybe like once in my life as a 6-year-old. I called him. I asked him, I was like, hey, I want to do something different. I don't want to be here in Texas. Is it cool if I can just crash at your spot for like a month or two, and then I'm going to get a job, move out? And I'm only, 20? I was 20. My dad told me no. He was like, no, I think you should stay in Texas. You're better off over there. He just did not want me to be around him at all. Don't know why to this day.
Oh, wow.
It's very sad. But I still decided to come anyway. So what did I do? I ended up asking my stepmom, which is his second wife. I asked her, I was like, hey, can I come to Texas? My dad said no, but she's always been like a cool, sweet lady. She's like, yeah, sure, come. I came, I stayed with her for a day. I have a sister. She's an adopted sister, but that's still like family. To this day, she's still family. As soon as I land, she picks me up with her mom, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, why don't we just go see Dad? And I'm like, no, he doesn't want me over here. Like, he didn't want me to even stay. It's fine, right? And keep in mind, I don't know my sister. The same way that I met her is the same way I met my dad, So I don't have a real relationship with her.
Yeah.
But she was like full of joy and hope. She's like, no, you're my big brother. Let's go. I'll talk to Dad. He's okay, blah, blah. She has a different perspective of how this guy is versus how my interaction with him is.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, fine, let's go. We go down to my dad's house. The first day I get there, he's like, oh yeah, you could just stay here. I was like, what? I thought you didn't want me here. He was like, no, it's fine. There's an extra bedroom there's an extra bedroom in his house.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna tell you guys. I want to tell you. First, I got to give you some perspective of my dad, right? I don't know this guy. So I grew up with three brothers. My older brother James, my little brother Chris. Mom, single mom. We grew up in Texas. Always been by ourselves. If everybody knows that whole struggle of a single mom raising three boys.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy work. It's heavy work. So she had to do that by herself. So my mom, a true soldier. Like she was able to raise three grown men,
Yeah.
just gifts of joys, right? All by herself. She didn't complain about, not having money for this and that. She just did everything she could do for her boys. So yes, we grew up like without a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting to my dad's house, this dude has a mansion, like a huge house,
Oh, wow.
two BMWs. His garage is so decked out man cave. I'm talking about like the Vikings, like color scheme everywhere, trophies, printouts of, football players, awards, all these football paraphernalia stuff just in this huge garage. Got the turf carpet, got the big screen TV in there. I'm talking about
Wow.
like a man cave, right? My sister's room, keep in mind my sister's room, she has Xbox, PlayStation, iPad, desktop, laptop, iPhones, and that back in 2015, that was like money,
Uh-huh. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
she had everything, right? And then he had kitchen full of food, everything. I'm talking about like this place felt like a billionaire's home. Like you're so good, well off. Like you
Mm-hmm.
don't have no worry in the world. So coming from seeing my mom raise three boys on her own to a dad who didn't really care to be a part of our life, it kind of was a weird feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but I forgave him. I was like, you know what? I'm 20. I don't know you. So for men, like, we'll just be men to men. Like, if you don't like something, you tell me. But I'm not going to fault you for not being a part of my life. Like,
Yeah, let's start fresh.
let's just start fresh. I'm here now. Let's start fresh. Let's just get to know each other. You know,
Yeah.
he was okay with it. He was cool with it. I get there. I try to work. Like I'm literally applying for jobs. I'm not getting no callbacks. I'm getting denied certain positions. I'm talking about this is stuff like Target, Walmart. Like it was like crazy hard to get a job for some reason. I don't know why. But at that time, that's when Vine was blowing up and whatnot, right? So
For those that don't know what Vine is kind of like a TikTok, an earlier version of TikTok, would you say?
yeah,
Like it was more like videos
it
and
was it was
comedic videos.
you can only do videos for 6 seconds. Like TikToks now, you guys can do it for a minute or however long. But
Yeah.
we had to do a skit under 6 seconds. And then everybody has these editing softwares and things that you can do to build in to make the videos dope. No.
Uh-huh.
All you could do is press record and stop. Press
Yeah.
record and stop. So you had to get super creative to kind of tell a story and cool transitions. Vine was a craft, I tell you that. But
Yeah.
this is around the time where Vine was blowing up. So I'm watching Vines, of course, at my dad's house, and I just remember like, oh man, I just feel like, yo, they're out here. I feel like I'm gonna be around them one day. I remember
Mm-hmm.
saying that to myself, watching my favorite Viners and just seeing like dope Viners, and I just remember like, oh yeah, I know I could be around them. I just don't know where they're at. So that seed was planted. I told myself, I was like, I can make videos like them. They're funny.
Mm-hmm.
Same with my dad. Some stuff happens between my dad, my older brother, and him where he kicks me out the house. It's a long story. Trust, it's a long story. But it came down at the end of the day between my dad it came where he told me to either choose my brother over him,
Mm,
and my brother's always been with me through it all.
yeah.
Like that's one person I will never turn my back on. I'm like, yo, he's been with me through everything. So I'll choose my brother. So because I chose my brother, me and my brother decided to stay in a car for 2 weeks homeless. We
Oh,
slept in the car. Yeah, because he kicked us out. Our dad kicked us out the house. But I rather sleep in the park with my brother than be in the house miserable with this man. Like
yeah.
that's how much I love my brother. But because of that, around that time my brother got a job working in Hollywood with this manager guy of Incubus. He used to be the former manager of Incubus.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got connected with this guy named Max Goose. Um, he does music or whatever. And at that time, he was working with Too Short. So Too Short had a studio down in the valley of, the Valley of California.
Yeah.
And my brother, he asked me one day, he was like, "Hey, do you know how to edit?" So I was like, "No, but I can learn." So he's like, "All right, well, Too Short Studio, they need an editor to edit music videos and stuff." He was like, "I can get you an interview and you can probably get paid or whatever." So I was like, "All right, cool." I keep in mind I'm still 20, about to be 21.
Yeah.
I go down to the interview. I literally go to YouTube and just watch so many hours of YouTube videos on how to edit, what software to use, what to download. I've even paid some of the softwares just to practice with the stuff, just to understand it. I go to the meeting and this guy, his name is Adam. Adam, he's the reason why he's the first step that got me into Vine and who I am now, right?
Hmm.
So I met Adam. Adam, he was like, "Yeah, I need an intern editor. Like, we can't really pay you too much, but we could pay you enough." So keep in mind, me and my brother still scrapping up
Yeah.
and staying in the
Just
car,
trying to make it.
just trying to make it. So I bullshit the whole interview. He's like, he's like, he's like, "Yeah, we edit on this software." I wrote it down. We're doing this stuff. This is what the processor, like everything I didn't know that needed to be done. I just wrote it down, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm there every day, I'm going there. They're shooting music videos. Then they're going to the editing studio. I'm watching him edit, and I'm kind of following along. He would give me most of the footage and be like, "Okay, do this, this, and that to it." I literally would have to write down what he said, Google it, and then go do it. You know, right then and there, like I had to
Hey,
keep the
you were
facade.
hustling. You were
I
hustling.
was,
You gotta love the hustle.
I, Lauren, I was hustling, right? So then, after a while, I think I was like a month in, um, and I was always asking questions. I was like, "Oh, what does this do?" Or like, "How do you do this for that?" Just learning
Hmm.
things. And there was one day, after a month, I think I was like a month or two in, Adam, he stopped editing. He looked at me. He was like, "You don't know how to edit, don't you?" I was like, "Nah." I told him, I was like, "No." I said, "I knew if I just got the job, y'all want to kick me out."
He probably gave you more credit for being honest in that at that
he
time.
I probably did because he died laughing, and then he was like, "Man, you know what? All right." Like even because I told him that, he let me stay, and
Yeah.
he taught me. I think because he saw that I was actually willing to learn.
Well, and you have a gift, a natural talent with it.
Yeah, like he kind of, I think he kind of knew that. Like he
Oh,
kind
for
of
sure.
understood I knew storytelling. And keep in mind, this is before Vine, right?
Hmm.
So I'm working with Too Short. Like music videos that I'm editing is going to Revolt and, MTV. Like I'm thinking I'm in the industry, right? As an editor.
Yeah.
So one day they, they do another music video and there's some Viners that come down to the studio. His name Landon Moss. I think you met Landon.
I
Pretty
met
sure
Landon.
you met Landon. You know how fun and full of
Yeah.
life Landon is.
Yeah.
That that is my guy, and I have to thank him for giving me the Vine opportunity. Like he is the one that genuinely to this day I will always give him credit for it.
Yeah, because
He was like,
he had a lot of the connections that were friends of mine, right? Like Jay and all of them. Yeah.
yeah, he did. So Landon comes to the studio. Everybody who ever meets me knows I'm just funny. Like I'm naturally just, joke, tell
Yeah.
stories, do funny things. So Landon one day he's like, bro, he was like, yeah, I do vines, this and that. And I was like, oh, that's dope. I was like, why don't you do a vine about this idea? He's like, just laughing. He's doing them. And then I was like, why don't you do vines about this idea? And one day he was like, yo, why don't you just do it? Just make your account and just do the. He was like, why don't you just make that count? And I was like, nah, let me shoot them and edit them. Like, it's fine. Because I'm thinking, I'm in the industry. Why not?
Yeah.
Why you do Vine? I don't know the purpose of it. I didn't understand it. Didn't quite fully get it. But he was like, no, you should do it. There was this Vine, my very, very first Vine. It was when that Janae Akio song came out. Gotta eat the booty like groceries, right? I had made a Vine about that. And I remember doing it, and Landon was in it with me. I shot it, I edited it. It wasn't the best, but it was still funny. And I posted it, and I got 14K followers off that one post, right?
Jeez.
And then I quit. I was like, all right, this is cool, but I'm good. I'm working with Too Short. Like, why do Vines? It was cool. I got 10K followers from going from 300 followers where it's just family and friends to 10K is like, I feel like it's a big achievement,
It is a big achievement,
Mm-hmm.
especially when going viral per se wasn't something that you did
It
at
was
that
easy.
time.
Yeah, it wasn't something that's just like, so I'm just thinking like, oh wow, 10K people follow me? Like, that's crazy. That's big. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I stopped. I just liked that little K on the side of the number. Like I was like, I didn't care for anything else, right? Until a month later, I'm still editing and everything. Landon calls me. He's like, and keep in mind, Landon's been doing Vines for a while now. Like he's done it like from the beginning of when it ever dropped.
Yeah. He was one of the
So
original
he
Vine
definitely
people.
knows about Vine people. So he calls me. He's like, bro, like, let's just shoot again, bro. You're funny, bro. Like, keep doing Vines. Let's go. Let's just shoot every day. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, he lets me stay at his apartment. He had a 4-bedroom apartment. Of course, it was 8 people in this 4-bedroom apartment. Like, that's how much. We're all 20. Keep in mind, like technically college students, just in an apartment trying to make it work. None of us have jobs, but we're all shooting Vines.
Mm-hmm.
That's how like the Vine community was. So I started shooting, and we're posting every day. We're having fun. It just felt fun. It was free. It didn't feel like no pressure. And then one day, an app company, DM'd me, was like, hey, we'll pay you $600 to do a Vine video. So I'm like, what? $600 for a 6-second video? That's $100 a second.
Right?
Right? So I'm like, I'm telling her, I'm Lauren, coming from no money, sleeping in the car, getting $600
For 6 seconds.
for 6 seconds. I'm thinking like, oh, this is it. Like I can start making, I can start
I
doing.
made
I made
it.
it. I'm 600 a month or whatever, like 600 a week. I can pay rent just 600 a week. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking. Like if I get
Yeah.
one brand deal or 2 or 3 brand deals of these apps that's just paying me to do it, that'd be great. I told
Mm-hmm.
Landon, I was like, bro, they want to pay me. Is this true? He's like, yeah, it's true. And I was like, wait, have you ever got paid? He was like, yeah, I got paid. But Landon never told me about the money, which I respect him for.
Yeah.
I genuinely respect him for it because most people will go into it be like, oh, I want to do this for the money. And then the craft and art is not as funny or authentic
Bingo.
as
You
it
just
is,
nailed that one on the head.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he was like, yeah, man, I knew. He was like, I already know. He said, but you just have a gift, Joe. Like, you're actually funny.
Yeah.
Like, he just keep doing it. And I just kept doing it every day. I just kept doing it. And then I started getting brand deals from Budweiser, 20K. Keep in mind, I'm 21 years old now. I'm getting a 6-second brand deal video for Budweiser for
It's
20K.
amazing.
It's crazy, you know? So like, you know, I'm just coming up with funny ideas. I'm keeping it just always just doing it because of the love from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money, the money followed every time the money followed. I'm doing it, and then you know I start seeing my numbers grow. I'm at from 10K to 20 to now 50 to 100K to 200K to like 500,000. I'm like, yo, like it's crazy. People recognizing me on the street now, like, oh, you're the Viner, you're this, and you're Jojo the Viner. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, this is genuinely crazy, you know. I'm having people that I grew up in high school with DMing me like, oh man, I knew you was gonna make it in Hollywood. Like people I don't talk to.
It's always
You
so
know?
crazy, the ones that come out of the woodworks.
It's like they're like, oh man, put me in the vine, put me in the vine. I'm like,
We
come
weren't
on,
even friends in high school, bro. Like,
right?
what? Just be in my Vine now.
And like I don't mind it. So you know, and I didn't really care for the fame. You know,
Yeah.
me, I'm always a like closed off individual. I'm always a loner at heart at some points, but
Hmm.
you know, I'm definitely a people person, but a to myself person. If that makes sense, it's hard to explain it, but
I
it
think a
makes
lot
sense.
of people in the industry are like that. We're very private in a lot
Right.
of ways because you have to be, because once you kind of go viral like that, your privacy is null and void.
Right. No,
You
it
know
is.
what I mean? Like it's really exciting and it's amazing, but at the same time, it's quite scary because um, things change. They change.
They really do. So, and you know, I just kept doing videos, kept doing it, having fun with it, and then it got to a point to the next phase of my life where it was like, okay, this is great, but what's next? You know,
Hmm.
like, okay, I'm verified, I have followers, people are understanding me, but it wasn't purposeful. It was just me doing, you know? So
Hmm.
after a while, you know, of course, then I met you, right? I met you. You're showing me the other side of, you know, marketing and um, what else? The
The business
business side.
side of
Yeah,
entertainment.
you know, you were showing me the business side. I'm like, yo, like it's cool and all to be in front of the camera, but like you have more control
Being behind.
being behind, you know?
Hmm.
And I was okay with it. You know, I was fine with all of that. And then it got to a point where it's a lot of people have this sense of false idolizing. I don't know how
Yes.
to,
Yes.
but like
They put you on a pedestal.
they do, and like genuinely, it got to a point because Vine is such a quick second, like it's such a quick and fast content. You have to feed the audience quick and fast,
Ye-
constantly.
Yes.
You know? So people don't understand that plays a lot of mental on you, because
And
now
it gets
you're like
exhausting.
it got exhausting.
Yeah.
Like one, understand that like yes, it was fun in the beginning, but then it became a business. Now you're required to do this, and it's your job. But now I was thinking like, why am I waking up every day trying to think of an idea that's funny enough to go viral to make money? Like to me,
Hmm.
that's not a way that anybody wants should live. Like no one should want to wake up a day every day and try to think of viral content
Hmm.
just to make a living. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's
No.
fair. And I'm glad that I learned that. You know, I wish 29-year-old JoJo knew that at 20, because I could have told him like, relax, find what you genuinely want to do, and make money doing that. You know,
But you did. And
I did.
I think that's what's so beautiful about your story is after Vine and when Vine kind of went away, you still stayed in the industry, which we've seen a lot of the people that me and you have both known, and a lot of people have come and go.
I've known people who have 2 million followers, and they genuinely just keep their page that haven't posted since 2017,
Yeah.
but they have millions of followers. Like people
Hmm.
love them, you know,
Yeah.
and never came back from it. now they're working like regular jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just like they never had someone to show them the business side and understand how to
Yeah.
scale their game, right?
And
So I'm glad
how to make sure that you're investing in the right opportunities instead of just spending all your money at 20 years
that.
old when you're
And I wish
nine.
I will tell you that was my of course 20 years old, you're making what, 20K a 6 second video, you're spending
Yeah.
it, bro. Like
Yeah.
what? There
Which
was
is something I
nobody.
think in 2016, one of the very first things that me and you actually talked about when we started working on Remote Humanity is
Mhm.
making a difference in the world and giving the money back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like doing investments and things that it keeps going.
exactly. And I think I will tell you this. So from what, 2016 to 2000, late 19, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think what, around 18, 19 is when, of course, like the Vine was done. People were moving on to Facebook or YouTube. TikTok was musically, but it wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Streaming wasn't a thing yet. Around that time, I would say it did get dark for me, right? So it was like the people I used to shoot with. I remember, and
Yeah.
this is a true story. I remember, um, I used to go to their house every day, right? They living in a 15K mansion a month, mansion that we'll
Mm-hmm.
all go there and shoot videos, content every day. And I'm new, and I'm hanging out with the top people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out with the top viners and influencers, and I'm just the little guy compared to them, right? I'm the new guy, right? So imagine like you're a comedian and you're in a group chat with Kevin Hart and I'm drawing a blank. Kevin Hart and
Chelsea
um,
Handler.
Chesley Handler and Chappelle, and you sending your content material to the group chat like, hey, what do y'all think about this? And they're like, oh, that's not funny, or that or this and that.
Mm.
You're 20. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're 20. You haven't learned to just do it yourself. Of course, you want advice from the big dogs.
Yeah.
But no one's telling you to like, hey, don't worry about their judgment. If they don't like it, still go do it because that's yours.
Yeah.
No one's telling us that, right? It's so new. So at that time, I'm like asking them, hey, what do y'all think about this video? I remember this one video idea I did. I send this video in. It's a minute long, but I just knew it was the perfect idea. It was great. I knew it spoke JoJo, right?
Yeah.
I sent it in the chat before I posted. I was like, hey, what do y'all think about this video? They're like, oh, it's too long. Um, One friend literally took my video, chops it up, and says, post it like this. Like they give me all these notes and this, and that. Even when I'm watching the version that he chopped up, I'm like, this just don't feel right. Like I want this feeling you watch. I want people to have this feeling you get watching this
Yeah.
video. And it took it away when he told me to cut it down. And now I'm like, dang, like is my video the way I see it not good enough to post it? And
Mm-hmm.
I played with that for like 2-3 days. Like, maybe I shouldn't post it. Maybe they might be right. But I remember back then when Lando was like just have fun. Like he was like literally have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I ignored them and I posted it. Why to this day it did 20 million views on Facebook, and no one like to this day posting the 1 minute version did my biggest views ever.
Wow.
And it's funny because even the guy who shot it, he was like, do you think Joe would have got more if he did your version? And the guy even still couldn't be like he couldn't even say, I don't know. He was
Wow.
like, he couldn't even give me the grace to say it was a good video. Like that
Wow.
was the people that were like around me at that time. So like after a while, it just felt like, all right, we're doing all this, but like, where's it going, right?
Your joy left. You weren't
It
there.
left.
You
Oh
weren't
my
having
god,
fun anymore.
I wasn't having no fun, and it left. It became like work, or I'm trying to compete to be the top, and it just wasn't fun no more. And then the friends that I'm thinking I'm shooting with every day started to look like coworkers. Like That's what my brother told me. He was like, those aren't your friends. Those are your coworkers. You're literally shooting with your coworkers every day. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't care.
No.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't care, Lauren.
Yeah, but it's so hard. It's so hard to come to that realization with people that you're working with, that your time is up to move on. It's
it's
hard because,
it's
especially when
hard.
you're young,
Oh
and
man.
you're in a place where you don't know a whole lot of people, and you're thinking these are your friends too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
And
how I felt.
it got very dark at that moment. I'm not gonna lie. Around 18, it was like 2018 or 19. I remember I was like, yo, I don't want to be in no vines anymore. I don't want to be in these videos. This is what I want to do. Like I knew I wanted to tell longer content. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do I wanted to start my YouTube page of short films, one-off
Yeah.
short films or TV ideas that I could constantly create, write, and actually put in meat into it. Like people can actually watch it, digest it, get it, and not expect to have another one tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's me learning the actual industry. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it got real dark where like they kicked me out the friend group because I didn't want to do vines anymore, or I didn't want to do content with them anymore. Like I'm like, yo, we can't be friends because I want to go a different path. Like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But around that time I had no one, Lauren. All these people that I was partying with, going outside with, shooting content every day with, never hung out with them again, ever. Like a quick instant turn your back on somebody, right? Except for
That's
one
like your
person.
classic. That's like the classic Hollywood story, Jojo.
Yeah, it's true though. I'm so glad that I learned this in the Vine era.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Um, and I remember like man, I almost wanted to kill myself. I did. Like
Oh,
it got like very dark, Lauren. I mean, this is a true story. Like I'm not.
you got really
I
sick
did.
around that time too,
I did
right?
too. Yeah, I was
Because
getting
of the
sick a lot.
stress.
Yep. I
Let's
was
touch
getting
on that for a minute. Jojo has sickle cell,
yes.
and can you explain to the world exactly what that means and how long you've had it? And
So for people who don't know what sickle cell is an inherited blood disorder where your red blood cells become rigid or crescent shaped due to the lack of oxygen in your blood cells, right? So you have these C-shaped cells that flow through your body and they can get locked up or clot in your joints, which causes extreme joint pain. It can cause fatigue. It can cause jaundice, all like a lot of complications because of sickle
Mhm.
cell. And a lot of people don't know stress also makes you have a sickle cell crisis. So when you have a sickle cell crisis, it's because your body is overexerted. Like either you're too stressed out or you're too fatigued from running or doing anything. So you have to always be in a state of calm. Like genuinely, you have to be in a state of being calm
Yeah.
24/7 in order for you not to get into a sickle cell crisis, you know?
Yeah.
But this is something I've been dealing with all my life, was born with it. Um, and I'll tell you more about this too, but, I never let that define me. And you know that,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
okay, I have sickle cell. I'm an advocate for sickle cell. Want people to understand it, educate people on it. But oh man, what, Lauren? I was going in the hospital, almost like 7 times a
Yeah,
year?
we were actually supposed to be going to Dominican together. You were going to go
Yeah,
to Dominican and Haiti with me because you were having a tough time, and I was like, "Well, come on over with me. Let's go do some good. It'll make you feel good." And then you
I've been in
got
the
really,
hospital.
really sick, and you stayed sick in and out of, I want to say, was that 2019, 2018, 2019, where you were in and out all the time. Like
Yeah.
you it it got really, really touch and go there for a few minutes of
I know you remember like 2021 was
yeah.
the coma. Like put
Yeah.
me in the coma 2021. Even with that story, like I couldn't, Lauren. It's funny now. Like it's a laughable thing because people think, oh man, it would never happen to me. You know, and like if you guys seen that Jamie Foxx of him having a stroke, oh, that
Yes.
never happened to me. No one ever truly expect something bad to happen to them. It is so
I
true, and I
know.
get why people say it. You know, like, and the weird thing, because people always question, like, oh, if you've been in a coma, like, how does it feel? Like you've been just dreaming for like 10 years, 20 years. I'm telling you, it's like if you went to bed and woke up.
It's crazy.
Like, just how you don't feel how the time, like, you don't feel
Yeah,
time when you go to
you don't
sleep.
feel the time at all.
You don't feel the time when you go to sleep, right? So
Mm.
when you wake up in the morning, you're just like, oh, okay, it's daytime, sun's out, time to get up and go. That's how it felt. It felt like I took a nap and woke up.
So question, Jojo, when you feel these coming on, can you feel an attack coming on before
Oh,
it happens?
definitely. When I was younger, no, like I wasn't quite aware about it. But now since I'm like older and I move with like purpose now, I
Yeah.
understand when my body is either getting too overexerted or having a complication. Like I listen to my body now, you know? So
Is there
like,
anything that you can tell people that have sickle cell that might be listening on what helps
yeah,
you?
I would say what really helps me to like maintain a sickle cell crisis is staying hydrated. Drink a lot of water. Drink water even if you're not thirsty. Like just
Mm-hmm.
drink like 1 cup, a little teacup, like, you know, a little mug of water. Just drink that. Like even if that's every 30 minutes or, you know, but constantly drink water. Be hydrated. Like you don't want to go without hydration. Like
Yeah.
that is like the to me the catalyst of like you going into a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And then just get regular sleep, exercise as much as you can. Like exercise is very hard to have sickle cell because you get fatigued quick, you get tired so quickly. So
Yeah.
like imagine if me and you ran a race. I'm going to get tired before the 10-meter mark, and you might get tired at the 20. You know,
Yeah.
it's like where energy is cut in half. But understand that just take your time. Like, you know, like how everybody says, everybody else has their own race. As long as you finish it, just finish it on your pace. Like, don't rush anything. And because of that, I think sickle cell taught me how to like enjoy life more.
Mm. Yes.
It definitely taught me how to slow down and just like walking. Walking is so beautiful now.
And being in
Like,
the moment, right? Being in the moment
man,
instead of always being stressed out and chaotic. And even though you had to go through such a tough time and that transition of teenhood, young adulthood, going famous, then learning that not everybody's your friend, especially in Hollywood,
yeah, like
having to
all
deal
those.
with the sickle cell,
Mm-hmm.
and then really stepping into your full potential, which is where you're at now, and stepping forward into directorship. So let's talk about that. Let's
Yeah,
talk about
so
how we've,
yeah, I definitely like, and that's where we were at with the whole like sickle cell and depression and like not being with minors. That moment in my life around 2019, I learned to be still. Right,
yeah,
that
you
moment.
didn't have a choice. God didn't give you a choice.
Listen, I had no choice, and let me tell you like a quick story. So like, I really wanted to. I was so depressed and like in a dark space. I was sitting on the freeway and I was like, you know what? The next semi truck, I'm gonna just get up and walk in front of it, right?
Hmm.
And I remember looking down and looking up and about to get up and walk in front of this truck, and this car was already in front of me. And there was no cars. This car in front of me, and this guy, his name Jose. That's all I remember. His name was Jose. He's like, hey buddy, like he tells me, you okay? I'm like, yeah, like I'm okay. And then he was like, I didn't even say nothing to him. He just tells me to get in. I don't know why I just trust this dude, this stranger so randomly. I don't know why I had so much trust in this guy. Like, I got in his car. He drove me off the freeway and he told me, he was like, bro, you don't even have to say nothing. I understand. He was like, he was like, can I tell you this scripture, the story from the Bible? And it stuck with me ever since, Lauren. It has stuck with me since today. He tells me, he was like, I want to tell you about Gideon, this guy named Gideon, right? He's like, this guy, he a basket weaver, right? People are killing all around his city. People are murdered and dying. They can't stop this killing and everything going around. It's an army that's just going around killing all these people. And this guy's a basket weaver, right? So he's feared for his life, just like anybody else. He has a wife, kids, all this stuff. And an angel came down to him and told him, like, go and kill all the people doing these murders or whatever. So the guy is like, yo, how I'm just a basket weaver. All I do is I make baskets. That's it. I weave baskets. I'm not no killer. And the angel just looked at him and said, go, my mighty warrior, and left. Right? So Jose was like, in that moment, we as humans look at our circumstances of where we're at right now and like get scared and think that, oh, this is how it ends, this and that. But he was like, but God knew who he was even in the toughest situation, right? So to me, bro, I was balling hearing this story. Like I'm like, yo, I don't have no friends. Like Vine is over. I don't know what, I have no purpose. Like I'm thinking it's done for me. Like this was a cool wave. No one cares about me anymore. Might as well just go back to Texas working a 9 to 5. And that's not what God had for me. And like at that moment, I had to sit still. Literally, I had to be still from hearing that. And because of that man was like, hey, come to this men's mental health group every Wednesday. I went for like, I had no one. So of course I'm going, right? It was walking distance from my house. The dude took me to my house.
Wow.
He shows me where it's at. He's like, yo, it's here. Like, if he don't even give me his phone number, nothing. He's like, come Wednesday, man, I'll be there for you. This, and that. I go for like 6 months. This is a true story, Lauren. I'm not lying. I go there for 6 months. I'm opening up, getting to meet these people. So eventually, the guy that runs this thing, he's like, yo, who told you, like, who sent you here? Like, who brought you here? I was like, oh, there's a guy named Jose. He said he worked here. He's been here for like, about 4 years. This and that. And the guy was like, this program only started like a year ago. He said, we only got the building 4 years ago, which was a church.
Oh.
But I never seen this dude ever since that church. Like I've never seen his face for the whole 6 months of me going there.
Oh, wow. That's an angel, Jojo.
Listen.
That was an angel. Hence the reason why you felt calm of getting in that car.
I was so at peace of being in that car and letting this man telling me this story, right?
That is a testimony, and thank you for sharing that incredible story. I have chills all over.
And this it's not even over. That's just the first part of this story. That story, right, after of me understanding peace and, accepting, being patient and understanding. Around that time, that's when I started learning production, right? My friend, his cousin is a producer. He's like, hey, he needs PAs, right? So now I go PA. I'm learning how to PA, learning from going PA to being a producer, to being a line producer, to being an office PA, to understanding directing and cinematography. I'm learning all this stuff from 2019 to 21, right?
Wow.
Learning all this stuff, rebuilding my friendship, finding my purpose. And at 2021, remember that? You don't remember that? Yeah, I think you remember this. At 2021, I decided to start Early Bird Productions, right?
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah. Right. So I started Early Bird Productions. I called my best friend, and this is cool. This is a cool story about my best friend. Like, at this time, he actually worked doing cinematography for another studio. So he would come out and shoot my short films, right? Because we did like the little short films. Remember, I wanted to do short films every month. As I was doing it, that's when the friends were like, "Oh,
Oh
this
yeah.
is stupid," right? They were like, "This is stupid. You shouldn't do them. No one cares about them." Blah blah blah. I remember him shooting it one day, and he was like, he pulled me to the side. He was like, "Yo, I love you so much that I will never shoot with you again if they're a part of this." And
Mm.
I remember him saying that before like the whole depression, and everything, and then, like it stuck with me. And then it
Yeah.
happened. All this stuff happened. I remember calling him. I was like, "Yo, I want to start Early Bird, and I want you to be the CEO of it. Like, I want you. Like, I trusted him so much."
Mm-hmm.
And now he's my former business partner. He had to step down and go to Detroit, so I run it now. But I remember him planting that seed of like understanding that like I had to like everything he was saying, everything that was done to me, everything was teaching
Stepping
moments.
stones. Stepping
It was
stones.
a
Teaching
tempest.
points. Yes.
It
Everything
was
is
technically
connected.
college. Like I said, mine was technically college. Like
Yeah.
it was teaching me who I am now, Lauren, right?
It is so true.
And and it's like I'm so happy now because like now I'm like, okay, cool, all right. I know I want to now after doing all the vines, understanding the business side of it, acting and doing all this stuff. It was cool, but I knew that I was a great storyteller. That's what
Yeah.
always blew my vines up. I was able to tell a story. I was able to get more views on my mini series than my vines, right? Because I was able
Mhm.
to tell a story. I was able to let people feel the characters, to relate to them, to want to follow along with this. So I knew I needed to be a director. And ever since then, I remember my friend was like, "Yo, if you want to be a director, go create your first short film and send it to the festivals." I was like, "All right, bet." And what story do I tell? The Suicide Story. And it
Mm.
won. It won
And it
4
won.
awards.
It did really good in all the festivals.
It did super great in all the festivals because I was able to tell a real authentic story. And I didn't have to ask, "Hey, was this good enough? What do y'all think about this short film and this and that?"
Because it was yours.
It was mine. And then guess what? It went back to what? Having fun. Just
Exactly.
doing what we love doing. So like,
Exactly. And I have to give you a lot of credit, Jojo, because as we have both grown in the industry in different ways, when I was putting out my podcast about a year and a half ago, I called you like the day before because my first recording, it was like back sounded and
hmm
anyways.
I
And
remember
you told me, who cares? Just put it out because you're going to look in a year at the difference of how you are and you're finding joy in this and you're sharing goodness. Just put it out.
good.
And if
Just put it
anybody
out.
else says anything, you ask them where their podcast is.
That's it.
And no shit, I took a deep breath. I said, okay, I'm doing it. I released it. It went viral. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Where's your podcast? And sometimes it might not be great and it's an easy little gist but it brings me joy and I like sharing the good stories of things that, the normal people just don't get to hear all the time.
You don't, and
And
then that's the joy about it,
and that's
that
the
part.
joy about it. And so I just want to thank you since we're
Of
talking right
course.
now for always having my back and I hope that you know that me and my
Uh,
husband
you and Sean have
always
always been family since the day I
always.
met you guys.
I know it's wild. It's wild. And, you know, it just shows that there are people that you meet in this industry. It's not all bad. And,
Oh no,
there's such, in the news right now about the industry and all the bullshit and the darkness, but there is goodness there too.
definitely.
It taught both of us so much.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
so
people
much.
people also have to understand, like, bro, the bad news is what sells, right? Of course, like we're gonna
Exactly.
put the bad news, but what they say is only that's only 3% of actually bad in everything. So it's like, like there's so much good around here, and people can fixate like, oh, I don't trust Hollywood and Hollywood's dark, but go listen to the stories of the people that actually
like this,
No,
of the
yeah.
stories of people that are actually making a difference and have survived the bullshit of what everybody wants to feed off of and are really making a difference doing something. And before we got on, I was talking to you about, this is the year of people who've worked their asses off for the last 5 to 6. This is the year for us. This is the year for us to show the goodness in the world. And I thank you for sharing your story, because it's just, I love it. I love you. And,
I always enjoy talking to you. Like, first of all, I'm proud that you actually just said fuck it and just did it. Like, that's the first step. And a lot of people get scared of that step,
yeah. Well,
And
I'm going through that again now, writing this damn book. So,
nah, you got it. Listen. You already know I'm trying to do a new project, and I'm scared. Like Lauren, like I genuinely am scared. I don't want to have the wrong partners because like
I
this
do
is
know.
something
I do know.
like I genuinely care. I care about everything I do. So if
Yeah.
I'm ever asking for help or advice on something, it's not like something that I just do it ill will and just quickly and brush it off. Like I actually heed advice now because you have to talk to the people that's higher than you and learn from them. But a lot of people try to take people, like for example, a lot of people try to take the advice from people that's higher than them and try and replicate what they did, and it doesn't work.
Which is the first part of failing. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about what they did. It's how they did it, and then making it your own.
Oh, people don't. Yeah, you get it. You get it. You get it, and that's where it's at. A lot of people think like, oh, okay, my cousin's able to sell T-shirts. I can sell T-shirts, but your cousin has a whole vision of how he wants to do it.
Yeah.
You just want to sell T-shirts because what? He's making money now? No, man. Go find your calling, your purpose, what you enjoy doing, even if it's stupid. I'm talking about if my son came to me, if I have a kid, and he comes to me, he's like, Dad, I want to be the best trick jump roper ever in history. I'm like, okay, go do it. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know,
I always tell Aiden, just say yes. If it brings you joy and it makes those butterflies in your stomach, then say yes and do it.
say yes and do
What's
it.
the worst that's gonna happen? It doesn't take off. It doesn't happen. I mean, like, come on.
And cool, you might, and this is one tip that my cousin told me. My cousin told me, he was like, there's an audience for everything, but it might not be as big as you want it to be, but there's definitely an audience, right? So, and that's so true. Like just how you like certain things, then I like different things than what you like, right? Like my mom loves kid content. She literally enjoys it. Like she can sit and watch kids try on YouTube things for hours. But my auntie finds that boring.
Yeah.
So it's like, that right there just shows that there's still an audience for your thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh
there's an
yeah, there's an
audience.
audience for everything. It's just finding it and having the courage to break into it.
Do it. Just do it. Like yeah.
And
Like
I also feel that once you kind of break into it, once you kind of see the numbers ticking and you're still in that joyful period, like I feel that keep on learning.
yeah.
Don't think
Definitely.
that you're the best. Keep
No.
learning, because there's
Keep
always
learning.
somebody higher than you that wants to knock you down. And they can't knock you down if you keep learning on your own
And
progress.
it's not even somebody that's higher than you. It's somebody that's younger than you.
Yeah,
That
younger than you, better looking than you, like thinks
like
they know,
there's somebody like,
Like,
and that's why I be trying to get to people. Like I worked for this company, this multi-million-dollar radio exec, right? Like TV exec, not TV, music exec, right? I'm talking about he's been in the industry for years. He done found your favorite singer, rapper, artist, you can name it. He found them, right? And learning from this, like actually working with this guy and seeing like, how he is a black executive in his industry and how he navigates. It's so funny to see that he sometimes doesn't trust the youth.
Mm.
So, and it's like, I wonder, like, I would never want to be that. I would never want to be at that age, like a higher age, and be like,
Not
only,
wanting to only so pigeonholed into what your thoughts are that you're not
oh,
no
yeah, like
longer
what you,
taking the advice of others.
yeah, like, why do you only care about the older? Like, why do you only care about your generation of people? Like, you gotta
I
understand, like,
feel I feel you have to come at a balance. As you get
mhm,
older, you have to come to a balance of learning and listening to everybody around you. But you also have to make sure that the people that are around you are the right people.
that, that's where it's at. And a lot of us have seen other people's success and feel like they're the right success.
Yeah.
Like, like, no, sometimes people that are successful aren't truly successful. Like yes, they have the accolades and money, but
But
they're
they're
not
not happy.
they're not happy, or they're not the right role models that you
Yeah.
want to like.
I think both me and you have both seen that, in especially
Definitely
Hollywood.
a lot, a lot.
Remember, we did start at the Playboy offices.
We did, bro. We knew, like, the funny thing is, we knew Logan and Jake Paul before they were Logan and Jake Paul, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
so I have to tell this story. I have to tell this story because remember when I came and met you, then we went over there and I had no idea who any of y'all were because I didn't even know what fucking Vine was. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit older than Jojo and them. And so I come home with pictures and my husband, because was it Jake or Logan? One of them was on Disney at that time.
At the time,
And my
yeah.
son, not my husband, my son's like, Mom, you were with Logan and Jake Paul and Jojo, and like I'm like, how do you know all of these people?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was around that time. That was
And
a
really,
time.
all of us that were in that room and that we
Hmm.
went to Soho that night, all of us are still connected in some form or fashion, and all of us have been very successful. So, and have very similar stories
Definitely.
of Hollywood
Definitely.
and the reason why they've kind of stepped out of it and started their own scene. And so, I think God puts you in places for a reason, and God put me at the Playboy offices that
He
day.
did. I feel like if I never met you or been at that Playboy office with you, because we were shooting something, weren't we? We were.
Yeah,
I think
we were doing some radio show. Yeah, it was a radio
we were
show.
shooting something. I remember because I remember doing a TikTok. No, a Vine. See, I'm
Vine.
tripping. I remember doing a Vine there. Um, yeah, I remember. I do remember. I can't remember too much from past time on
It's
vacation.
all blurry.
It is blurry. It's very blurry. But I do remember going there. But yeah,
Yeah, and
I do.
we just hit it off like immediately. I had gotten off the plane, gone to the office. You had met us at the office. That guy Mariano, who's huge in Italy, was there,
Hmm. I
and
remember that.
the whole
And we
night, the next day, and then we just started working on projects and talking, and
staying
we've
connected.
always been in complete alignment, me and you,
Yeah,
and
we
that's
always say, yep.
that's something I'm so super grateful. Okay, so let's finish this off. What do you want to complete in 2025 for your mind, your body, and your soul? Go.
For my mind, what do I want to complete for my mind is I want to tear down worry. I want to destroy worry. I want to take that completely out of my mind. Um, in 2025, what I want to do for my soul, I want to, that's a good question. What do I want to do for my soul? I want to remain at peace. I think, and I feel like I've been mastering it, but I want to master
Ooh, I
being
like
at
that.
peace, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I want to master that. Like, I want my soul to always stay at peace when things are feeling like it's shaky or you don't know the next move. I want to still stay at peace. And I feel like that's what comes with the mind destroying worrying. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Strong mind keeps the soul at peace. And then what was the last one?
Body. What do
Body.
you,
Oh,
yeah.
body. Yes. Body wise. Okay. Body wise. That's hard because you know I'm doing super strong. That's hard.
Staying healthy. Staying
Staying
out of the
healthy.
hospital and no comas.
Definitely.
Let's start
Body.
there.
Oh my God. Yes. Body wise, I just don't. Okay. So body wise, I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to stay healthy because I do have surgery this year for my body, and I really am been
We got to
prolonging to do it,
we got
but
we got to keep it healthy.
yeah, I got to keep it healthy.
And
Definitely. So yeah.
anything that you want to plug moving forward. I know there's some things that we're working on right now that we can't talk about, but anything else that you want to plug moving forward?
Plug. I say just follow me on Jojo at Jojo Jojoe, and Early Bird TV, EARLEY Bird TV. Follow those two on socials, on Instagram, on the website, because 2025 we have. I will be releasing a lot of hit makers this year. A lot of
Yes,
short
you
films,
will.
a lot of dope content that I'm excited for people to see. Like it's really going to be groundbreaking this year.
And I've got to do a plug myself. Can you still see your old vines? Because man, can we just talk about my
No,
most
man.
favorite?
They deleted Vine. I can't. I
Really?
don't. Yeah, I feel like you could probably try and find it on YouTube,
Like the
but
little flip flop?
Little Flip Flop is on YouTube. That's under Early Bird. So go to Early Bird
Okay.
TV.
Okay. Y'all got to go check out the little flip flop. That one is my favorite agenda.
That was top 10 for sure.
That is top 10. I will also be linking everything for him to get in touch with him, stay up to date with him. But I have a feeling that in the next few months he will be back on and we will have some incredible news to share. So, Jojo, thank you so much for coming on here with me. I really, really appreciate it. And
Sure.
thanks for sharing your story to the world.
And thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, you know we love you, Jojo. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Get Enlightened with me, Lauren Scott. Thanks, Jojo.
Bye.